Such a Nerd Podcast. Hadoukening all over your face.
Everybody difficult, everybody simple. We all on death row, we all gon' tiptoe. I run with kleptos, I still wear big clothes. Hold my dick the way you hold your crystals. Pissing in the middle of nowhere, fishing in a lake full of frozen tears. I'm like a polar bear from the south side of over there. I disappear into the open air atmosphere. Get a taste of your soul when you hold breath. We act like we got a whole lot of road left.
Hey, what's going on? This is David.
This is Jesus.
Hi, Jesus.
Hi, my son.
Hey, do you notice those posts on Facebook that people put up when they say type amen and they will be blessed?
I do.
No, you don't. Shut up.
Jesus!
I know this, my son.
This is actually Josh. He's wearing his Jesus disguise.
I do have a beard, my son.
You just stop. I'm not your son.
Yes, you are.
I'm your friend.
I gave birth to you.
I'm your friend.
I gave birth to you? Wait.
You gave
what?
birth to me.
Jesus!
You are my son. I gave birth to you through my butthole.
It was an immaculate conception. What can I say?
Shit. Jesus.
Jesus!
That's good.
It's the greatest clip ever.
All right.
I see. You're right. I do have that problem where I start doing this randomly.
Yes, you do.
I'm trying to break it. I'm sorry.
I always joke that it sounds like you're sharpening a knife.
Just getting ready to stab you on the next stupid thing you say.
You're like, one day, motherfucker.
One day.
That's all right. My chair is really squeaky tonight, so.
Stop making the humping motion to do that, please. I'm uncomfortable.
All right.
All right, here we are. We're back. We're here to talk. This week we have news, fantasy fiction. We're going to do a review in honor of the great man.
Yes, my son.
Not you. Don't take it. Don't fuck it up.
All right.
We're going to be reviewing the original Nightmare on Elm Street and New Nightmare.
Correct.
Due to the terrible tragedy that I'm sure is in news, the passing of one great Wes Craven.
I didn't put it in news because there's no need to put it
right in the front.
No, there's no need to put it in news. It's just
it's like a tragedy.
Yeah, you sent me that message and I was like, "What? There's no fucking way."
I sent that message to only probably like 4 people who I knew it would really affect because I know it actually really got to me because I was like, "Oh, you got to be shitting me, man."
I did not realize that he was 76 years old.
Neither did I.
That motherfucker looked awesome.
Hey, man, living the life.
Yeah.
But, unfortunately, that life is over. So, in his honor, we will be reviewing 2 of our favorite movies of the Nightmare series. And that will be later. Because we always got to start it off right, Josh. Hey! I like that. It never works that way.
No, it doesn't.
So, I guess that means I got to start. All right.
Start it
Hulk
off.
may be out of Civil War.
Yes, so I guess the big, well, not I guess, it was the big rumor that Hulk was originally out of Civil War.
Okay.
And then Robert Downey Jr. went to the Marvel executives and was like, look, he needs to be in the movie. Mark Ruffalo is, a great guy. Put him in, yada, yada, yada. And everybody just took off and ran with it. And I guess Mark Ruffalo is now like, no, I'm not in Civil War.
Is it part, you know the story, right?
Yeah.
The story of Civil War. Should the Hulk be there? I don't know it.
I don't think he is, and I'm trying to think back. It's been a couple years since I've read Civil War. I don't recall the Hulk being in there.
So, maybe it was just, I don't know, maybe just Robert Downey Jr. is on this such a I'm a good guy note now that he feels like he has to stand up for everybody.
Well, it's just weird because, well, you haven't seen Age of Ultron yet, but
No.
basically, I'll spoil this part. At the end of Age
You
of
can
Ultron...
spoil the whole thing for me, I don't care, but the audience might care.
At the end of Age of Ultron, the Hulk basically, Mark Ruffalo is like, look, I can't be around people, I'm too dangerous, and he hijacks this ship and flies off somewhere. So you don't know where the Hulk is, and they did that on purpose because he was not supposed to be in Civil War. So then all these rumors started that he was going to be in it because of what, Robert Downey Jr. said and all this stuff, but it looks like he's not going to be in it.
Then why is Robert Downey Jr. pressing so hard for them to be like, hey guys?
Fuck if I know.
I don't know. His sober life is a weird one.
Look, this movie is already the Avengers 2.5.
What did they say in basketball? It's like, He's 9 years old and he smells like Robert Downey Jr. It's a great movie.
Yeah.
I don't care what anybody says. It was weird seeing Matt and Trey kiss, but kind of hot.
That's like in my dreams. What are you talking about?
So,
what's on your dick? I'm gonna go away.
I think Tony's just going, maybe he's just going a little too far trying to be an awesome guy. Because he is an awesome guy. He does a lot of cool shit.
Yeah.
But maybe this is his way of being like, hey, you guys are fucking him over. It's like, no, we're not. Read the story.
Yeah,
Who knows?
Look, I want a Planet Hulk movie. It's not going to happen. I know
Maybe.
that. It's
Maybe
not
that's
gonna
what's
happen.
happening while he's in space during Civil War.
No, I don't think so.
Oh,
I don't
maybe.
think so.
Shut up. Fuck you. Next part.
Well, we missed the first part. Shout out to Gary and Kirk.
Shout out to Gary Kirk. Yeah, I jumped right over and went straight to news. Sorry, I don't usually read the notes first.
The official shout outs of the podcast.
The Super Trooper, and what is Gary technically? He's just
the
the official
official
shout
Gary.
out.
He's the official Gary of the podcast.
He's the official Gary.
Yeah.
He endorphines this show. Yes.
Yeah, sure.
Download and rate on iTunes. Listen to the stupid fat guy. So,
All right, so
doing the ring thing again. I am the Lord of the Ring.
that's okay. I'm squeaking in the chair.
We're all about background noise in this episode.
Anthony Daniels.
Fucking Matt Damon.
Anthony Daniels, who of course played C-3PO in the Star Wars movies.
Yes.
He says the level of secrecy surrounding this new movie is approaching ludicrous.
That's because Luda, move, bitch! Don't put it on the internet. Look at the difference between that and Suicide Squad.
Oh yeah, definitely.
They're like, oh, this leaked, and this leaked, and this leaked. What have we found out from fucking Star Wars? An action figure came out with a voice, and they recorded it. Thank you, IGN, because that's all you can give us on Star Wars.
Yeah, pretty much.
They're very tight about this.
No, they're sealed up like a dolphin's butt.
Ooh.
Watertight.
Oh. That's the kind of shit. Never mind.
He also said that the difference between J.J. Abrams and George Lucas is that Abrams is open to collaboration and George Lucas was not towards the end of his career.
What do you mean?
So basically talking about the prequels where people kind of would step in and be like, George, maybe this isn't the best idea. And he'd be like, fuck you, I know better. This is my universe.
I created this.
And J.J. Abrams is more to like, okay, well...
Let me hear what you got to say.
Yeah, why don't you think this would work? Let's talk about it. You know, kind of deal.
It should be that way.
It should be?
Because, yeah, I agree with that idea. Because I think if you're making something as big as Star Wars, because, let's face it, that's one of the biggest sci-fi franchises of all time.
Without a doubt.
So, when you're making these newer movies, when it's been this long, you should be able to take some creative input.
Oh, definitely.
Because at this point, when was the last time that between 3 and 4, George Lucas, how many years was that?
Oh, Jesus.
I couldn't tell you off the top of my head.
Yeah, I have no idea. It's a fucking while.
So maybe you should open yourself up and be like, okay, I haven't revisited these movies in this long. I should be able to actually take in what fans of the series are saying. Just because I created it, it's a whole thing now.
Yeah.
It's not just, this is what I'm making. It's like, people are in love with this. Let me hear what the people think.
Yeah, I think, and it kind of is weird to say it, but I think once a creation...
It's a Japanese fighting movie.
Once a creation gets to... Once a creation gets to a certain point, I don't think it's yours anymore. Like
it's the fans.
Yeah, it's everybody's.
And just because you did such a great job from the get-go, it's been this long. Do you know how many other people have had great ideas for this fucking world you created?
Yeah.
Open yourself up a little. Take some creative criticism.
Yeah.
Once you get to a certain point where it's appreciated, you should be able to take creative criticism from people who enjoy it and try to make it better and broaden it.
Well, sticking under the Disney umbrella, I found this funny.
Ha ha! Sorry, I think I threw you off on that one. I'm sorry.
Yeah, the world is mine.
Oh, you're not going to wear the ring, huh?
Get out there.
All right. That was a quick South Park reference.
Some Disney executives see the Avengers 2 as a failure.
Which I thought was crazy.
So, this is the world that we live in, and I kind of liken this to Apple.
Yeah.
So, Apple stock, I don't know what it is right now. I know at one point it was like $450 a share, which is fucking ridiculous.
Yeah.
And people are like, oh, it's down to $432. Is this the end of Apple? And it's like, is this where we're at in America?
Oh,
like
they had a slow week. It's got to be dead now.
Something loses like 2% value and it's fucking dead. But, alright, so Avengers 2, it did 74% on Rotten Tomatoes, which is respectable.
It's respectable.
It did $1.4 billion worldwide.
It didn't do 3? Are you kidding?
So the first Avengers had 92%.
Yeah.
And it did 1.5. Alright, so it missed it by $100 million, which is not a small amount of money, but comparing 1.4 billion...
When you throw it up to the word billion,
yeah,
you hit $1 billion goddamn dollars. Shut the fuck up.
I just thought it was funny, because apparently what's going on right now is that... So the way that it worked was that Kevin Feige was the head of Marvel Studios, and this other guy, Pete, Lumitrell or whatever his name was, I can't remember his name, he was the actual CEO of Marvel. So he was actually kind of controlling everything from behind the scenes. Kevin Feige has now gone to Disney and been like, look, this guy's a piece of shit, he doesn't know what he's doing, we need to get him out of the movie part. So
Damn.
Disney has now done that.
Okay.
So this guy is now out of the movie part. It's basically Kevin Feige's show from now on.
Okay, so was he a part of the fucking Avengers 2?
So they had him, and then they also had a creative committee, as they called it. So it was a committee of 5 people, and they would all share ideas. And I guess the problem was, and one of the reasons Edgar Wright left Ant-Man and Joss Whedon doesn't want to do another Avengers, is because they would send stuff to the studio, and it would be like months later they would get notes back on it and be like, oh no, you need to change this. So they're like, dude, we shot this like 4 months ago. What are you talking about? We need to change it.
Yeah, it's kind of shitty.
Yeah.
It's definitely... It's hard to do work. This is actually very relevant to something that happened to me at work recently, is it's hard to get your job done when you're not getting the input or the shit is not flowing properly.
Right.
It's like, if you say something is ready, it should be ready. If it should be ready, you should be able to get it done. If it's not, you communicate it improperly. Now, on that note, also, when you're sitting there and you're trying to deal with shit, and I don't know where I'm going with this rant, I just lost it. Fuck
right.
work.
Yeah. Well,
But
either
no,
way,
they should have gotten quicker responses.
they should have gotten quicker responses. Either way, the Avengers 2 was not a fucking failure, even though
No, it's not nowhere near a failure.
it rated lower and it only made $1.4 billion. Oh, Jesus Christ, the world's coming to an end.
Oh, God, Mickey Mouse will only have one ear. So,
All right, that's all I got for movie news.
it's fucking stupid. But, yeah, I will go back to it and say, it's kind of hard when the landscape of the Avengers, it's kind of hard to keep going forward when you're waiting 4 months for a response.
Look, Avengers 1 was going to knock it out of the park no matter what.
And it did.
It was the first time you got all these characters together. It was a huge achievement. Nobody had ever tried to do anything like that. Take multiple superheroes and put them in one movie, and how is this going to go? And it was great.
I still want to take a video clip of that part where they have all the Avengers and they're all standing there strong together in New York while they're under attack and just put that fucking... You know what I'm talking about.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
You're the man now, dog.
Yeah, I got you.
Every time I think of it in my head, I'm like, that's hilarious. You just destroy an epic moment with that stupid fucking sound.
All right, well, now I got to go get the sound and put it in right here.
Yes, I'm probably going to.
Get to it.
Maybe. I got all day to edit tomorrow.
All right. But no, the Avengers, it was the first time they got them all together. You know, everything's building to the Infinity War.
Yeah.
And everybody knows that.
Especially the ending.
Yeah.
It's just known fact. Oh, God. The fucking... Yeah, get it over with. Why did we have to wait 15 movies?
So, I mean, everybody's waiting for that. You know, the Age of Ultron, I enjoyed it. I thought it was great, but I can understand why it didn't do as well.
The fucked up part is I was super excited for the original Avengers, and as you've noticed, for 2, I was just like,
Yeah,
I'll watch it eventually.
Yeah.
I mean, and it brings me to the thing, I think it was, I don't remember which director said it, it was probably, I think Steven Spielberg recently came out with it. He was like, yeah, today's equivalent of fucking superhero movies is basically the westerns.
Westerns, yeah.
It's like, yeah, it's super huge now, but it's gonna die.
Yeah, and it is. There's going to get to a point where there's superhero fatigue.
Yeah, definitely, dude. There's like an overload. It's so sad. They've got this shit mapped out for the next 15 years, pretty much.
Yeah.
Ridiculous. And with me, like I said, it's already kind of done it to me. Because I watched the Hulk when it came out. I watched Iron Man when it came out. I watched the Avengers when it came out. I watched X-Men when it came out. It's at this point, I'm like, eventually it's just going to be on TV. I don't care. I can pay $1 for it at Redbox.
Right.
I'm not going to go make a day of it. It just doesn't excite me the way it used to. They're running out of things that they haven't already done.
Yeah.
Hell, I watched the Hulk fucking destroy a city and take down a space worm. It's over. I'm good.
Game over.
Game over. So, yeah, I feel the superhero fatigue idea coming in slowly.
All right. Let's
right.
move on to video game news. So, according to polls, and this has been going this way for a while, so I wanted to talk about it and kind of get your thoughts on it. 51% of gamers are now female.
I believe it.
I believe it too.
I'm wondering if in that statistic they take into account tablet/smartphone gaming.
I don't know, to be sure.
Because I don't consider that gaming.
No. But either way you toss it, female gamers...
I'm sorry, you pro Candy Crush players.
Female gamers have been on the rise for a long time. And I actually think it's kind of exciting because... You take a game like Assassin's Creed Unity, for example, where you couldn't create a female character, and everybody was up in arms about it.
Same thing with Grand Theft Auto 5.
Right. And now that you've reached that tipping point where females are now the majority of the people playing games, all these companies are now scrambling to be like, oh, we're trying to be more diverse. Like, it's been trending this way for fucking years. Why haven't you done anything?
The crazy part about it is... It's so strange. It's just like nerd culture. It's like, because when you used to be like, oh yeah, I play video games when we were in elementary school, you got, like, looked down on it for some reason. It's like, oh, you play Nintendo?
Why aren't you playing basketball?
It's like, obviously, it moved on, and it's gotten to a point where it's like the internet was the same way. When you were one of the early adopters of the internet, and you're like, oh, I was sitting there on IRQ. You remember that shit?
Yeah. I was on AOL Messenger.
And it's like, oh god, you get on the internet. It's like, now today it's everyday part of life. Yeah. It's so crazy how it used to be like laughed at. It's like, dude sits around and plays on a computer. Now it's like, oh yeah, I just hang out, play on the computer. It's life. It's normal. So with gaming, it was mainly a male audience that adapted it first. Yeah. Then it became mainstream, and it's like females are surpassing it. I believe it could happen.
No, I totally believe it. I'm just excited because I've always enjoyed, like, a strong female character. Like, looking back at Ripley and Sarah Connor and fucking Lara Croft in the Tomb Raider, especially the new Tomb Raider.
Oh, hell yeah.
I thought they did a great job with her. So I'm, like, always down for diversity in games. I just find it funny that all these game companies are now suddenly like, oh, we're trying to get more diverse.
And the fucked up part is that's the Western game department. Yeah. Because look at Japanese games. Like, remember Sword of Mana? Yeah. On Game Boy, what was that, Advance? Right. Do you want to be the guy or the girl? Pokemon, do you want to be a guy or a girl? You come to America and it's like, you're this buff dude, you're jacked up and you're ready to kill.
You're fucking Kratos. Let's go.
Oh, well, I went Sephiroth. Why'd I go Sephiroth? Sephiroth. I always go that direction. Sephiroth would beat Kratos.
Oh. Save that for nerd battles. Save that for nerd battles.
Write that shit down.
All right. So the PC Arkham Knight patch is finally released.
Finally.
How long has it been? 2 months?
How long ago did I stop playing Arkham Asylum? Arkham Knight.
Yeah.
Asylum was the shit. It's been a while. Yeah. The case of that game has collected quite a bit of dust. Okay. So
I'm surprised you haven't traded it in yet.
I should have, but I do want to beat it. There's a part of me that says you need to beat this.
Well, I mean, you already know what happens.
The funny thing about that is I also have the God of War 3 remastered version, and I'm still playing that over it. I know what happens in God of War 3. I beat it 4 times. That game's fucking great, even
Yeah.
if you disagreed earlier.
Well, I didn't disagree. It's just
You
like
mad it.
You were like, I can let you borrow it. And I'm like,
You wouldn't want to play it? It looks great at 60 frames per second.
I'm sure it does. But...
Unlike the Gears of War HD version. The roadie run, you remember that?
No.
When you run around and the camera gets like super shaky and it's running behind you.
Yeah.
In 60 frames per second, it looks weird, dude. Like, it was built to be 30 frames per second when you did that. That's the first time I'll ever say 60 frames per second. It didn't do the game any advantage. It gave it nothing.
Well, I'll take your word for it.
And I'm spinning the goddamn ring again.
He's spinning the goddamn ring.
He's got a goddamn ring to spin.
Slave Tetris.
What the fuck is this? You wouldn't let me look it up. You wouldn't let me know what it is.
I wouldn't let you look it up because, number one, I can't believe this game is exactly what it sounds like. I'm going to tell you that.
It started to sound really terrible then.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, essentially, you're a slave master.
Okay.
You're trying to fit slaves into a boat.
So
So your object is to put them in neatly so you can fit as many as possible into this boat.
fuck that person.
So that was on Steam. It's been pulled off of Steam now due to backlash.
I can imagine.
Yeah. So yeah, I just wanted to say again, fuck that person, whoever came up with that. I cannot
Dude.
believe anybody would even conceive that in this day and age.
Especially right now. We're not going to get in depth with talking on about what's going on right now, but it's not exactly the least touchy subject.
Yeah. I just, I thought it was a joke when I saw it. I was like, this can't be real. And then I, clicked on the news story. I was like, you've got to be fucking kidding me.
It's not like... I hate to ask this. It's not like black slaves, is
Oh,
it?
yeah, it totally is. Yeah.
God damn it, man.
As you slouch in the chair.
Show's over. What the fuck, man?
Yeah.
Somebody thought this would be a great idea?
Thought it would be a great idea. Got it onto Steam.
Wow.
Yeah.
Fuck that guy. I hope he gets hit by a fucking bus.
Yeah, so I just wanted to bring that up to talk about it because, there's nothing even really to say about it. I can't believe somebody would even come up with that shit.
No, that's fucking stupid. And the fact that Steam greenlit it at first.
Yeah.
It goes to show how little they pay attention to these indie games, but you also got to realize how many indie games are probably coming at them.
Yeah, I'm sure they get thousands of submissions on the daily.
Yeah, so I guess on that note, you can't really blame Steam. They're just a company.
Well, I would gotta
there.
think that certain words get red flagged, so when somebody submits a game called Slave Tetris, you probably want to take a look
Well, look at the game
that.
called Slave Zero.
Never heard
That
of
game was fucking awesome. You're just a guy in a mech. Mechs are considered slaves. They're not called mechs. They're called slaves because they do what you tell them to. Mm-hmm. Great game. I think it was one of the Dreamcast launch titles.
it. Really?
Yeah, it's that old.
Okay.
I actually downloaded it not too long ago from, what is it, GOG Game? Or GOG.com? Good old game.
Sure.
It's basically, it takes a bunch of old school PC games, and I don't know if they have, the development team work on it, or they work on it, but they make it so it can launch in modern day OSs. They still look like shit, but it can launch on,
Actually, you know what? Now that you say that, I think I played Day of the Tentacle on that.
Yeah, they released that too.
Yeah.
They have all the old school games. It's great. And it's all DRM free, so there's no checking and anything. You don't got to have an internet connection. Your internet goes out, you'll be able to play your game.
Oh, cool.
Unlike a lot of games today. Like a lot of games.
I'm like fucking Blizzard.
Yo, Blizzard, fuck that. What the fuck's an MMO? Am I right? So...
Alright, last thing I want to talk about for news, and Jesus Christ, this was supposed to be a short news segment. We're already at 25 minutes.
Yeah, it doesn't help. I did my random babbling about work, and then I forgot what I was going to say.
I don't know. I was drunk.
I wish I had been.
Last thing I wanted to bring up is that Hideo Kojima put out a video
Yeah.
for it's Metal Gear Solid 5, The Phantom Pain debriefing.
Okay.
It's basically his love letter to the fans.
No, that's a nice thing of
Saying,
him to do.
thank you for all your support. This is some of the stuff we had to go through during the making of this game. My goal, and he said the goal when I make any game, it's for the fans, and my goal is to always exceed their expectations. So he's like, I hope I did that.
I can tell you from the amount of time I've gotten, probably about 8 hours into it now. I can tell you it is fantastic.
I've heard nothing but great things about it. I haven't picked it up yet just because I've been so busy, but I've heard nothing but great things about it. Every review I've checked has been a 9 or a 10. So.
I always go to the user reviews on Metacritic to see what the zeros have to say.
Yeah.
And it's definitely some backwater, stupid bullshit. They're like,
course.
yeah, this is a Metal Gear. It's like, dude, why don't you go back and play the MSX version if you're that pissy about it? For fuck's sake. It's 2015. And the game has been nothing short of fucking fun. I've enjoyed pretty much all the time with it. There's been a couple moments, but I can say it was me just being stupid, basically. Because you know how I play Metal Gear.
Oh, yeah. Run in, cock first, and yeah.
Yeah, I'll just run into situations. And I do it a lot differently in 5. I do set up, like, outside of bases and posts and camps and stuff like that, and I survey. And I try and get a good idea of what's going on. But once I have a good enough idea, I'm like that guy who looks at something and he's like, this is like, okay, he starts by opening the door. There's the go point. Go. Door's open and I run in.
Right.
So I go crazy. But I've had a lot of fun with it. I've thrown myself into a lot of bad situations. And the cool thing about it is when you die, you start from checkpoint, right? Mm-hmm. I'll sit there and I'll reevaluate everything I did, and I'll do it completely differently, and everything goes, like, completely differently.
Yeah.
Like, there's this one part I was like, this is absolutely fucking impossible. There's no way to do this. And I was like, well, let's try it this way. Not even noticed a single time the second try. Whereas before I was like, there's no way you can even do this. This is physically impossible. Second time I was like, cake, done. Great game. You're going to love it.
I'm sure I will. So we're actually going to go into an in-depth review next week.
Next week, yes. We're waiting till next week because obviously I just gave my first impressions, even though, somebody took it off the list. I did it anyway because I do it fucking live.
That's all right.
So those are my first impressions. Next week, I'm pretty sure you'll have it.
Yeah. Pretty
sure I'll still be playing it. Mm-hmm. And we'll be able to give you a good fucking dick punch review.
Right to the dick.
Yeah, we're not IGN. This isn't our job. We're doing this for fun. So I'm sorry we're going to be a week behind with it, but hey, we're going to do it better. Fuck those guys.
All right, so we're going to take a first break. We're going to come back. We are going to get into Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yes, and it's going to be great.
The Serpent and the Rainbow. The People Under the Stairs. Last House on the Left. A Nightmare on Elm Street. Wes Craven, the master of horror, returns at last with a frightening new twist on terror. Wes Craven's New Nightmare, rated R. Starts Friday, October 14th.
Yeah, we're back again. Yeah. No.
Take my weapons.
Take my weapons.
I had to send that. I don't know where that came from. I was just like sitting at work. I was like, I need to send this to David right now.
The best part of that one song is where he's just like, shit. Because I looked up the lyrics. I was like, there's got to be words there. And apparently that's what he's really doing. He's just going, there's no words. It's gibberish.
Static X, for those of you who don't know.
Wayne Static, you were taken too soon. 54, I think he was.
54, really?
Yeah, he was 54.
Wow. Okay.
But he's still awesome.
Yeah, definitely.
Speaking of somebody who was taken too early, somebody who probably, I guess, technically, it wasn't too early, but it's still very sad.
Yeah. I had no idea he was 76.
Neither did I until I saw that. Until I saw the story pop into my newsfeed. Yeah. I was like, what?
So we are here to talk about, and I think we had planned a retrospective at some point of the Nightmare on Elm Street franchise.
So at this point, if we do one, we're just going to skip past these two movies, and we'll tell you to watch. We'll tell you to listen to this episode.
Yeah.
To get our big opinions, because we're going to do a retrospect of basically Nightmare on Elm Street 1 and A New Nightmare, the two Wes Craven directed nightmares.
Which I believe are the best.
Yeah, they are. The only one close is it's tough. 3 was great, but that's when it started going off the rails quite a bit.
Well, I think you can make that case for 2, but
But yeah, 2 is just what? I don't. 2 is strange.
No, but 3 actually, I didn't know. And before we get into everything, I didn't know that he wrote the original screenplay for 3.
Yeah, they actually denied it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I saw that, and of course, we've talked about it a million times. Never Sleep Again, the documentary. It's such a great watch.
It really is. It again, if you haven't seen that, go watch it. It's like 4 hours, but it's so worth it.
Yeah, it's definitely something you can just watch slowly. Like, watch them one at a time.
Yeah.
That's like fucking, what, 7 or 8 movies? 9 movies, I think, in there?
It's like 45 minutes per movie.
Yeah,
that they spend on.
If you just break it down like that, you're good. You don't got to sit for the whole fucking ride.
Yeah.
So, Nightmare on Elm Street 1, independent film.
Correct. So this was before New Line got really big.
New Line was only a distributing company. They had never actually made a movie before.
Right. So
this was their big gamble.
This script had gone around to Hollywood for quite a while, if I recall, like a few years.
No one was willing to pick it up.
Yeah, and I think they even talked to Sean Cunningham, who created Friday the 13th. And he was like, oh no, if people know if it's in a dream, then nobody's going to be scared, so what's the point?
What?
How
Stupid.
wrong he was.
Stupid.
Yeah.
Absolutely stupid.
So,
go
the
ahead.
first time, and I vaguely remember this, like when I was a kid, like I was 4 or 5, I had to be, and my uncle had got this on VHS. And they were like, it's a scary movie, you can't watch, yada, yada, yada. And
It just makes you want to watch it so much more, because they're like, I can't watch?
I wandered into the living room during the one part where the hall monitor is like, no running in the hallway with the Freddy glove on.
Hell yeah.
That was like my first remembery, as Malia would say. My first.
Remembery.
That's what she's
That's
like.
a good one.
I have good rememberies.
That's a good one. I like that.
That was my first memory of Nightmare on Elm Street, is that scene.
My first one is close to that. It was the body bag.
Yeah, so right before it, okay.
Yeah, I literally walked in while I think it was my oldest brother and his friends were watching it. And I was like, what are you watching? They're like, go. I don't want to go.
Yeah.
I was the annoying youngest brother. Of course you want that motherfucker to go.
Yeah, get out of here.
So, and it always fucked with me, and my other brother, Craig, knew it fucked with me, and he would try to make me watch it, and I would have nightmares, and he would get in trouble.
Oh, dude, I had so many Freddy nightmares, it was ridiculous.
Like, I would scream and cry about Freddy, and I would be like, what are you talking about? Craig, let me see this! It's like, Craig! It was great.
So, what was again, getting off topic a little bit, but what was the first one you actually sat down and watched front to back?
3.
That was mine, too.
That's why I say it's in my top nightmares, because that one, it was the campiest one. Not the campiest, sorry. It was the campier one.
Yeah.
The campiest.
Yeah. Freddy's Dead, I think, has to be.
Not Freddy's Dead. I'd still probably give it to 5. It went
They were
over
both
the
pretty.
top.
Oh, yeah, because
5
they had
went way
Super
over the
Freddy.
top.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Okay.
So, but, sorry, I was doing it again. I'm going to point it out every time until I remember to stop.
You're sharpening your Freddy claws.
The 3, because it was also the same time that the Nintendo game came out, remember?
That's true, yeah.
And the dream powers were in the Nintendo game,
Right.
and blah, blah, blah. So I started getting to the age where I was starting to finally be able to have a financial background. I got a job, and I was like, I have money I can spend on shit. What shit can I buy? And shit got bought.
Yeah.
I got like Tony Hawk's Pro Skater. I got Nightmare on Elm Street on VHS. Oh, God, I'm old. But, yeah, that, like, literally, for some reason, that was something I always wanted but never had, because that's not the type of movie my parents bought.
I think I saw like 3, 4, 5, and 6 before I ever saw the first one, front to back.
I didn't see the first one until, like I said, after I started working, and we had Blair's Video right around the corner from where I was working, and
Yeah.
I was like, dude, let's watch some of these scary movies we used to not be allowed to watch when we were little kids. And we got, like, Friday the 13th and A Nightmare on Elm Street and shit like that, and I went back and watched them. I was like, wow, that's some twisted shit, actually.
Yeah, it's noticeably, like, it's much more, like, I would say from 3 on is like horror/comedy.
Yeah, it's so much so.
And this one is like,
There's some minor comedy to it.
Yeah.
But for the most part, it's just like a psychological horror movie.
Exactly, and I think that's why it works so well, is that it was more psychological. It wasn't like, Michael Myers or Freddy, this tall, lanky guy is coming to get you. It was like, you cannot hide from this motherfucker. You have to sleep eventually.
If you fall asleep, he's gonna get you. I'm gonna get you. So yeah, it's definitely it would fuck with today. Yeah, it's a little tame by today's standards.
Yeah, it is.
Because we've pushed the bar so goddamn far into gore and horror. It's like you can't really do anything anymore.
I can tell you one scene that, to me, like, even to this day, is so creepy, and it's so silly, because when you look at it now, you can see how fake it is, but at the very beginning of the movie, well, not very beginning, but...
Close to the beginning.
Yeah, when Freddy is chasing Tina, and they're out in, like, the alleyway, and he's like...
The long arms?
No, not the long arms,
Oh.
where he's like, hey, Tina, look at this, and he cuts, like, 3 of his fingers off, and he just, like, the way he looks at Tina and then looks back at his hand...
And he's like, that's scary? Is that spooky scary?
Oh, it's scary!
Yeah, dude, the long arms thing, even though today, yeah, like I said, it does, you can see the ridiculousness in it. But
Yeah.
when you're younger and you see something like that, that's not the kind of shit that's out often.
No,
and you're
not at
like,
all.
why the fuck is his arm so fucking long? This dude is fucking... He's gonna kill you. He can do anything.
There were so many, like, revolutionary shots in that, and they weren't the first person to use, like, the rotating room, as they talked about, but...
It was like a house party or some shit. It was some kind of movie like that. Because it was a guy
Fred
dancing around the
Astaire.
room.
Yeah, I don't remember the movie, but...
I've never seen House Party.
You've never seen House Party?
I've never seen House Party.
Jesus, no wonder you didn't get the joke I threw out last week.
Aww.
I was like, this shit here make your dick hard. And you just stood there, like, blankly looking at me like, yeah, totally. And I was like, alright.
No, I've never seen House Party. That's crazy.
That is crazy.
I didn't know you quoted House Party. Took me a week to know. Alright.
No, they were the first one to use that in a horror film.
And they fucked themselves up doing it.
Yeah, they did. So, for those who haven't seen the documentary, specifically, because they used the room twice.
Yeah.
They used it for Tina's death and for
The death
Johnny
of
Depp's.
Johnny Depp.
Yeah.
Johnny Depp's?
Johnny Depp's. So he got sucked into the bed, and then this fountain of blood sprays out, but they actually had turned the room upside down, and they were pouring blood in.
And as you can tell, it all starts in the scene. You can see it all drifting into one direction.
Yeah.
Apparently, the weight of the liquid they were using started pulling the room.
Yeah, and they couldn't, it was basically just like 2 guys
Yeah.
turning the room, and they lost control of it.
And pretty much anybody in control of that got electrocuted.
But they also electrocuted themselves.
Nobody seems to realize at that time that electricity can go through liquid. It hit the electronics and sent a shockwave through everyone.
I love how the one guy, when he's talking about it, he was just like, oops.
It was great. There's so many funny moments in that documentary. Like when they were talking about, I think it was like either Nightmare 5 or 6, when they were talking about the body thing. You know what I'm talking about? How you could see images of ghosts pushing through the body.
Yeah.
And they were like, and we had just this little Chinese lady
Yeah,
at the top
yeah.
trying to hold it. And it went over, and she went right with it. Dude, hilarious. Such a good documentary, but I'm getting off topic.
Well,
Tubby.
oh, Tubby.
I'm getting off topic.
There was one scene in there that I could never figure out how they did for the longest time. It always bugged me. I was like, how the fuck did they do that?
The marshmallow stairs.
Not the marshmallow stairs. No.
It was a joke. It was a joke.
I'm going to get to that, though. But no, this is the one where, like, Freddy, like, comes out of the wall. Like, you see his silhouette comes
the
out of the
silhouette,
wall.
and he's coming down across her, and she's got the crucifix.
Yeah.
Like, it's kicked off the wall before it happens.
Yeah, I'm like, how the fuck did they do that? And then the guy, like, explained it. He was like, spandex was a new thing. We went down to the store, paid 50 cents for a roll of spandex, and put it up and pushed our face against it.
And it's the creepiest imagery.
It really is. And when they did the reboot or the remake,
Yeah, they still use that idea.
no, they did it CGI, though.
No, they did it CGI, yes.
And it looked
but
fake as shit.
I'm saying they use that idea because that really is like one of the more terrifying moments of that part.
It is, but I was sitting there. I remember me and Amy were watching it, and I was, the remake, and I was
Who
like,
the fuck is Amy?
I know, right? Who the fuck is an Amy?
Hi, Amy.
We were watching it, and I was like, this looks so fucking fake. And I was like, I cannot believe a piece of spandex in 1983 looks more real than the CGI.
And you know the
does.
funny part is they could have done that again.
Yeah.
And it would have been cheap as shit.
Yeah.
But instead that shot probably alone costed probably like $7,000.
Yeah, if not more.
Hell, the dog turd in John Wick cost $5,000.
Yeah.
We got a dancer.
We got a dancer.
Yeah.
I was in fire dance.
She's the fire bat of my story.
Okay.
Oh, spoiled some of the story.
Oh.
That's
Sorry.
me, though.
Sorry. I'm dying to tell this story, by the way.
Now I need to hear it in a minute.
I don't know what she said.
I don't know.
All right. So.
All that's getting cut out.
No, it's not. I'm editing. So, when you come down to it, for the time, that shit was insane.
It was completely different because, like
The
I said...
only thing that would beat it in that time was Exorcist.
Yeah.
Exorcist still has some truly terrifying moments.
I was thinking more of along the lines of, like, slashers, though, because, like, when you think of the famous slasher villains...
When it comes to slasher, hands down, that's number one.
Yeah,
In my opinion.
Yeah.
No, I can't think of another... Who would be second place? Would you put Jason over Michael Myers?
Yeah, I would put Jason up there.
I think Michael Myers was a better slasher villain than Jason Voorhees.
I think Jason, like, after the third one, because in the second and third one, he actually ran,
Yeah.
and I think that takes away some mystique.
Once he starts just doing the ominous walk
Yeah,
that you can't escape.
yeah.
Michael Myers did that from the beginning.
Yes, he did.
He never walked. He never ran. I would say that Michael Myers had the better reboot,
Okay.
the Rob Zombie.
Yeah.
I thought that movie was awesome.
I didn't really feel one way. I will say
Really?
the unrated cut is a lot better than the regular cut.
That's the only cut I ever watched.
Okay, well, there you go.
So, yeah, I thought the Rob Zombie Halloween was great. The sequel, it's not as good. It's definitely not as good.
It's not as
But
good.
after a couple watches, it's actually not that bad.
Yeah.
So, man, we have strayed so far away because of me again. I just like to talk about random shit.
I know.
Sorry. So going back to it, when you go back to Nightmare 1, of course, can't even question. Best movie ever.
Yeah, definitely best movie ever.
So
I could fucking watch it now and probably still find something new.
every time, like, dude, still in the documentary again. This should just be called the documentary of Nightmare on Elm Street. When they're talking about the rotating room, when what's her name? Was it Tina or Lisa?
Tina.
When Tina was killed, and how she started like freaking out
yeah.
the room,
Yeah.
and Wes Craven popped his head through, and he's like, "Hey, hey, we're okay.
Yeah.
See, this is a rotating room,
Look, you're standing on the floor. You're upright. You're fine.
dude. So awesome."
Yeah. Oh, you wanted where you mentioned the stairs where she's
The
running up
marshmallow
the stairs.
stairs, yeah,
So
which
that-
wasn't originally in the movie.
That's what I was going to say. So that was actually something that Bob Shea, the producer, lobbied to get into the film. And I actually really like that scene because I can't tell you how many nightmares I've had where you try to run and your feet are just like stuck and you can't run.
And it was just such a crazy thing because Wes Craven was like super against it. And
Yeah.
they were like butting heads through the production of the whole movie because it's a new company. New Line's new to making a movie. Wes Craven's sort of new to making movies. It's
He's
not
made
his
a couple
first.
at that point. Yeah.
So, of course, they're the powers to be and they're butting heads and they're not getting along. And basically, I think in the documentary, it was like, you know what? Let's make peace. You can make this scene. This will be in the movie. How
Right.
about that?
Yeah.
Let's just stop fighting. Let's just do it.
Yeah. Which
And-
I actually think is a great scene at the end.
Yeah,
of the day.
when it came all together and everything, it came out really well because that is a terrifying idea. You're trying to run from somebody who's trying to kill you and you can't move.
Yeah.
And what did they say they ended up using? Like Bisquick?
Bisquick, yeah. He was like, if you make it too thick and then let it sit for an hour, he was like, it becomes like the stickiest stuff on the planet.
And the way it was shot, it looked great.
Yeah.
So, more props to you. As much as I hate to say it, Bob had a great idea on that one.
Yeah, it worked.
So, anything else? The ending is kind of confusing.
A little bit, yeah, because... So I guess the original ending was that Nancy was just supposed to, essentially wake up and go off to school, or tell her mom, I had the strangest dream, and then go off to school, and then it would pan over to the little girls with the jump rope.
Well, I'm also talking about the fact that, like, the death of her mom was just strange.
Made no sense. Yeah.
Like, it's like, I'm pulling a skeleton with a wig down into the bed.
Yeah.
Okay, that's your mom.
Yeah. Which the dad is not dreaming, but is somehow there and sees that happen, and is kind of just like, oh, okay.
It gets a little off the rails at the end. Like, I still, to this day, haven't really pieced together the ending of what's supposed to be going on. You know?
Yeah. I think...
But the dad was there. You were wrong about something. She pulled him out of the dream, remember?
I remember she pulled him out of the dream, yeah, but...
And she went... I don't...
How did he suck her into the bed if they're in the real world?
Yeah. I don't get it.
Yeah.
Maybe that's his way of returning to the dream world and he took her with him? Oh, that's kind of cool.
Actually, now that you say that, because her mom was asleep...
Yeah.
That makes total sense.
That's kind of cool. I wish I could debunk this, but I'm sure anybody who actually has a word in this would never respond to me. Hey, this is David with Such a Nerd Podcast. I'm sending you an email to figure this out.
Yeah.
No response.
No, nothing.
Thank you for being a fan. Generic response.
Yeah, that actually makes sense, though.
I never thought about it like that until I just said it. I was like,
me either.
actually, that's kind of a point you could make.
Yeah.
Well, I just solved something after how many years now?
Yeah, 30-something years. All right.
Awesome. I'm the motherfucking man now, dog.com.
All right, so they go on, they make Nightmare 2, which we're not going to talk about.
We're not going to talk about really any of them.
Yeah.
We'll go as far as to say the series got goofier and goofier, and it totally just body horror / comedy.
Yeah, so Wes Craven and another guy wrote the original script for Nightmare 3, and they were like, well, there's parts we like, we're going to use some of those parts.
And apparently in the documentary, they say 3 was supposed to be really dark.
Yes, like super dark.
And they show some of the pages and everything, and you're reading the dialogue, and you're like, holy shit.
Yeah.
But it basically got denied. They moved on with parts of the movie, different writers, and it became campy, goofy, haha, booby. Here we go.
So that was basically Wes Craven's involvement for the entire franchise up until they were like, all right, Freddy's dead, it's over, it's done, we're not doing another Nightmare. And they're like, oh, wait a second, I have an idea.
And then Wes Craven always said he wanted to revisit the series again.
Yeah.
Because, it was his baby, and he watched it grow, and he's like that parent that wasn't allowed to see their child.
So, he was like, Bob came to me and was like, we're thinking about, well, first he said, Bob came to me and was like, look, we didn't always treat you the best, and I apologize for that. You were the creator. So he gave him, back revenue for what the franchise had done up to that point.
Which he deserved.
Which he deserved, which was a good gesture on Bob Shaye's part. And then they were like, well, do you think you have an idea for one more movie? And boy, did he.
And the worst part about it is it was one of the least popular ones. I wouldn't say it was the least popular. It made the least amount of money for the series.
It didn't do well in theaters, and I remember when it came out, and it was kind of like everybody had that feeling of like, they just fucking said it was over and done with. They just killed this guy. Now they're doing another one. It's a cheap cash grab, and that's why nobody went to see it.
And the fucked up part is it's really not a sequel.
It's not. It's not at all.
It's such a good idea. The character just had so much popularity that through the presence of people's thoughts and everything, and everybody involved and the creators and everything, because they're all a part of the movie.
Right.
That this entity was actually born from everything.
Yeah.
And it's not to say it was the actual Freddy, but what they had created actually became something that was real.
Yeah, so basically, if you've never seen the movie, Freddy is now, it's like you said, he's his own entity, and he's trying to cross over into the real world.
Yeah, like Robert Englund stars as Robert Englund in the movie.
And Heather Langenkamp is Heather Langenkamp.
And like everybody from the first movie is originally, they're talking to each other like, oh, blah, blah, blah. They're getting along, they're just adults, they used to work together. And by the end, it's like, hey, you're my daughter. And it's like they're starting to, like, their minds are starting to meld into the movie, the original movie. It was so nuts.
Yeah.
It's a very psychological film.
And I didn't realize at the time, of course, because there was no internet, just how in-depth Heather Langenkamp let them go into her life.
Oh, she let them... That was like pretty much her actual life.
Yeah, she legitimately had a stalker that kept calling her, that was mad that the franchise was over. So that's in the movie. She has a son named Dylan who's in the movie. She has a husband named Chase who's in special effects. That's in the movie.
It's not her actual husband in the movie.
Correct, yeah.
I just thought I'd point that out because they made sure in the documentary they said, that's not the actual husband, these are the actual people in my life.
Right. Yeah, it was actors for those guys, but...
Yeah, dude. They went super in-depth. And, dude, like the phone calls with the old school cell phones and Robert's doing the painting and he's like, you see he's like painting Freddy. He's like, I'm just working on whatever comes to mind. And that's like what's on his mind. And it's so crazy.
Yeah, and she's like, I keep having these dreams of Freddy. And he's like, Freddy like me? And she's like, no, like more evil, darker. And he's like, I got what you mean.
Yeah, and dude... Some of the shit in there, like when they're doing the funeral for her husband, and the body gets pulled under, and Freddy, like, there's this long tunnel, and it's all padded with fucking, like, the coffin shit.
Yeah.
That shit fucked with me so bad.
Yeah, funeral scenes, especially, like, back when that movie came out, it's just, like, funeral scenes have always been, like, creepy to me.
Yeah.
But that one especially, for sure.
That one was, the T-Rex scene.
Yeah.
With, there's so much to that movie that was so great. Because, in reality, it's a slasher series.
Yeah.
New Nightmare was not a slasher.
It wasn't.
There were deaths.
Yeah, it went back to more of that cerebral, psychological type of horror. Because you don't see Freddy for a long fucking time in that movie.
You don't, and even when you do, it's not like he's just murdering everybody.
Yeah.
He's just there to push the plot in, like, the creepy direction.
It was a great slow build that got right to that edge of being, alright, when the fuck are we going to see Freddy?
And then when it happens, it's like,
yeah,
mind blown. And especially the recreation of the room death. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, yeah, where the rooms, yeah.
And her son's just sitting there watching it horrified.
Yeah.
So good.
And I like how they made him look, like the makeup looks so much better
And the
than
claw,
it did in 5 and 6.
Oh, fuck yeah. And the claws, like, I like you can see the musculature, is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Through, like, the strands of skin that are still attached to his head. Mm-hmm. That was awesome. The fact that they used the idea that this isn't the Freddy Krueger from the series, but this is a new entity.
Right.
So he's got claws growing out of his fingers, he even has the thumb claw. Mm-hmm. That was awesome.
Yeah. And they put him in a trench coat.
Oh,
which I thought completely changed the character again.
It really did. Dude,
just that one little thing.
Everything about him was so much more creepy.
Yeah.
The only thing I'd say I didn't like is the goofy tongue thing.
That, I mean...
But at that point, he had taken her basically to a different realm. He pulled her from reality into
the dream world.
What was... Not even essentially the dream world, was it? It's more like what created him at that point.
It was basically hell, is what it was.
Yeah, it was. It was definitely hell. And that's the only time it ever got like that.
Yeah.
No, technically that's not true. The highway scene. Where her son's trying to run across the interstate, and Freddy's claw picks him up, and it's like, oh, I got your kid.
Which they were saying he was sleepwalking, which is why he was able to come through. But
That's true. That's true. It's very true. There's just so much. There's so many layers to that movie.
There really is.
It was so great, and it was probably, in my opinion, like I said, top 3 easy of the Nightmare series. Top 10 easily of movies I've ever seen.
Yeah, it was, dude. It was so great, and it sucks that one didn't make a lot of money because if any of them deserved,
exactly.
Yeah.
If any of them deserved the big fucking, this is our breakout. It sucks that it was the last one.
Yeah.
Because that's the one where everybody's like, it's Freddy. Whatever. It was just dismissed.
Yeah.
And it shouldn't have been. That was the best.
Oh, but I was going to say they had the whole tongue in the phone thing.
Yeah, they recreated some of the older scenes. I loved it, dude.
Yeah.
I love the fact that he's calling back to the movie that he directed.
Yeah. So many good... dude, even the kid that plays Heather's son.
Yeah.
Creepy as shit when he taped the knives to his fingers. And was acting like Freddy.
It was creepy as shit when he was sitting there trying to watch the TV and she unplugged it and he just started screaming.
Yeah.
And it was like, what the fuck?
Yeah, and that kid was in tons of stuff.
And wasn't there another scene in that movie where he's watching the movie again and it's like, oh god, and they realize the TV's actually unplugged?
Yeah, she unplugs it and the TV keeps playing.
Yeah.
And she's like, what the fuck?
And the earthquake that keeps hitting LA and it fucking puts the cracks through their walls, but it looks like a slash.
Yeah.
There's so many levels to that movie. It's so nuts.
That's great. I think that's one of Wes Craven's best movies, like
It
front
is.
to back.
The way we keep talking about, dude, I am totally probably going home, not editing tonight at all, and I'm gonna watch that movie again because, of course, I got the collection.
Yeah.
You kidding me? Fucking love that series. So, yeah, again, best movie ever.
Best movie ever.
If you had to put one over the other,
Between one and that one,
yeah,
I think I would still put one over top of it, just because if that one didn't exist, we wouldn't have
we
it.
wouldn't have it. Yeah, I was about to say the same thing. That was the argument I was making in my head. If one didn't happen, that wouldn't have happened.
Yeah.
And it has so many good throwbacks to one.
Yeah.
I would say, though, that New Nightmare takes the psychological element way further than the first one did.
I agree. Yeah.
And I loved how it just showed how these people interact with each other, and then it's fucking with them so much, they're starting to feel themselves being pulled back into the movie.
Oh, we didn't even talk about the part where she goes to meet Wes Craven, and he's telling her about this story that he's writing, and then, he says the one thing, he's like, what was the last thing you wrote? And he's like, you have to make a decision whether or not you want to play Nancy one last time. And then it shows his computer, and that's the last thing written.
Yeah, it shows that it's getting written.
Dude,
as
I
these
just got
things are
chills
happening.
thinking about that.
It was so creepy. And then at the end, the script is at her house.
Right.
And she's sitting there, and her son wants her to read it to him. I was like, what the fuck, dude?
You just live this shit.
Yeah, exactly. It's such an insane movie.
Yeah.
But
The one thing I wish, and they talked about it in the documentary, the one thing I wish they would have added that they didn't was the thing where Wes Craven had actually cut off his eyelids to stay awake, to finish the script and stay away from Freddy.
I forgot about that. It's been so long since I watched that documentary.
Yeah, in the original script, he had a scene where Wes Craven had actually cut off his eyelids to stay awake to finish writing the script so he could stay away from Freddy long enough to finish it.
I wish that had been in the movie.
I wish
that is fucking terrible.
Yeah,
Terrible.
Terrible. No, that's one scene I wish they had put in there that they didn't.
That's the kind of shit that'll terrify your fucking mind.
Yeah.
I couldn't even imagine, man. That's insane.
Yeah.
But there was another part. The fucking at the beginning, the animatronic Freddy hand
Yes.
that comes to life and kills one of the fucking special effects dudes.
Yeah.
Awesome. That was in the preview.
Yeah.
That's what, as a kid, of course, I was like, I want to see it, but I'm not allowed in that because I was still too young at the time.
Yeah. It maybe
But-
came out in like 93 or 94, didn't it?
It was like mid-90s, yeah.
Yeah.
But, mid-90s, we were just starting high school, I believe.
Yeah, I was 12.
Yeah, I think you go in high school around 13. I don't remember the math.
Yeah.
So, fuck it. We
We'll
did
do
it
it
live. We barely discussed any of this shit before we even started. We just basically said we want to do this. But we've watched them both, like, so many goddamn times. I couldn't even tell you how many times I've watched the
I
original
have
Nightmare.
no idea. No idea.
I remember there was this long period, I was probably like 22, I want to say. It was back when I was like, oh, I'm just going to buy all the movies I used to watch. And I bought all the Nightmare on Elm Street movies. Every night, I'd just watch a different one. I fucking love that series. I'd even watch the shitty, well, the ones people call shitty.
I would even
I don't-
watch part 2.
I don't find them that bad. I think they're honestly not that bad. I've watched 2 multiple times.
I've watched 2 multiple times, but we'll definitely get into that when we do the retrospective.
Even 2 has some legitimately creepy parts.
We'll get into that when we talk about the retrospective.
Yeah, we'll end up doing the whole retrospective if we keep going.
Yeah.
We're going to cut to break. And, of course, Godspeed, Wes Craven, rest in pieces. You created one of the greatest slasher villains of all time.
Totally. He did. You know what? When they were doing movies that he'd done, I completely forgot he did People Under the Stairs.
Did he?
Yeah, which I loved that movie when I was growing up.
Huh. I didn't know he made that one.
Yeah, I completely forgot that he had.
He made a lot of movies. We should... No. Do we have a segment for next week yet?
I got Metal Gear
Metal Gear.
and my Mega Man.
You're a Mega Man. Oh, we're going to do Mega Man again? Oh, I can't wait. I was just going to say, we should pick one of his random movies and just watch it and give our opinions about it. One that we haven't really watched before.
Yeah.
Because he's got a whole catalog, and I'm sure I haven't seen all of them.
No, he did a lot of fucking movies.
We should pick one that we haven't heard of and just watch it and give it like a 10-minute segment.
Yeah, let's
10
do
minutes
it.
for us is 20, but... we might do that, we might not. I guess you'll find out next week. Holla if you hear me! Woo-hoo.
Yeah, it was. Very stupid.
We are back.
Go.
All right. This is another installment of I'm borrowing fantasy fiction.
Part 3 of the story.
Again, shout outs again, of course, to the amazing podcast Fantasy Fiction, which I've just re-listened to the entire thing again.
All right.
Dude, they just did their 69th episode, which just happened to be their 2-year anniversary episode.
All right.
How do you fuck that? How do you do that?
Yeah, that takes amazing planning.
2 years, 69th episode. It was great, by the way.
So what do we get? We got cheesesteaks.
Cheesesteaks, necromancers, and position.
All right.
We're not going to go into that again. We've done it enough. The tale of this story.
Yes.
The name of this story is you name it. Just name it.
She's a necro session.
She's a necro session.
All right.
What? What does that even mean?
Cheese a necro session? I don't know.
You were trying to combine everything,
I
weren't
was,
you?
yeah.
It didn't work.
Okay.
All
Sorry.
right.
Cheese or necro session? Let's go.
Feel free to interject whenever you feel appropriate.
Oh, I will.
Thank you. Here we go. Fantasy fiction story number 3. Shout outs to fantasyfictionpodcast.com. Josh Duff. You guys are fucking awesome. Continue's fucking awesome. You remember Continue?
Scary.
You remember Continue? I think I've told you this. The show Continue on YouTube.
Continue question mark?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's those guys.
Okay.
That's their shit.
All right.
They're fucking awesome.
All right.
Yeah, they were doing Let's Plays before it was popular. It's not a Let's Play.
There must be one swood guy.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm about to drop in on a grommet. Titty la clitoris. I'm sticking with the realm.
Okay.
This place is fucked. We should go somewhere else for our story. Too bad we can't, so shut your cock holster and strap in. Deep down in the darker regions of Limp Dick Anya, a place... I gotta figure out another way to name these places. A place full of dark forest caves and shit.
When in doubt, go with the cock.
Just go straight for the cock. It was a place full of dark forest caves and shit, and also a dark sorcerer. A necromancer by the name of Barry Life Ganniganer. I pronounced that wrong. I apologize. Barry Life Againer. I added some G's and A's. I wanted to really get that across.
I was going to say bury life up in her.
Barry Life Up in her. Why didn't I do that?
I don't know.
Let me go home and change the story. Barry was an old elf with gray hair, gray skin, gray eyes, gray garbs, and a gray dick. I'm pretty sure he had gray pubes, too, but I haven't really checked. Yet.
That's later.
He had been spending days searching through the Netherrealm, trying to resurrect his long-lost pet, Jerry the Insufferable. He was a fire bat. He earned his title because anytime he was happy, he'd start crapping fire, which in the end turned in to be his downfall, as Barry threw him a surprise birthday party, and all of his friends were invited. All of them, Josh.
Okay.
There was Barry, his stuffed bat bed pet that had the aroma of some sweet dub-dub, the lampshade he was freaking on the down low, And also Barry, he shit out a megaton firebomb and unleashed his own hell that consumed him. For only his insides were fire retardant. This story is sounding a bit retardant. But it seems there had been a breakthrough in his searching. As he worked his seance to find the fire bat, he heard the high-pitched chirps that could only be his wonderful companion. After so much searching, the hour grows nigh. Jerry? Jerry?
Ooh, Jerry.
He spoke as he kept his eyes closed, hands held high as they levitated over the orb that was in front of him, because I didn't write that before, but it was totally there. Also, he was standing in a pentagram. Candles and the dull glow of an all-sea ball were all around him as he continued to search. Is that you, little buddy? Chirp, chirp! The bat clattered from the realm excitedly as he heard the voice of his old buddy calling out to him. Honing in on the sound and letting the spirit form progress through the nether realm, hearing it go closer. I'm so glad I finally found you, my most beloved bud. I have missed you ever so much. I will bring you back to me, and you're just in time. I had given up hope and was about to eat this sweet dick of a cheesesteak, but decided to give it another 5 minutes. He stated, over by the all-sea ball were queued up episodes of Sons of Hierarchy, and an open container that read, Barry Steaks and Pizza. Cause he made his own shit, but he thought it was so good that it deserved to be in a box. Like, you know, it was good enough to sell or something. Jerry agreed. Jerry loved Barry subs and pizza. Berries! He placed his hands over the orb as he started to say the magical fuck.
Jesus.
I can't do it.
Jesus.
Alright, fuck it. He placed his hands as he said the spell to resurrect his fallen friends. Alright, I gotta call it. Why you gotta be so dead? You pooped fire that was red. Why you gotta be so dead? I'm gonna bring you back anyway. Bring you back, girl. Bring you back anyway. Bring you back, girl. Fuck what the spirits say. Bring you back, girl. You were like family. Now you're in my fucking room.
I imagine you wrote the whole song.
I should do the whole song. And with that, the words were spoken, and a large purple and black portal opened like some stupid Ravens fan's emotions. And the air started to whip around the room as it drew in like a vortex. Papers, debris, and scrolls flew all about. His clothes whipping up. The gust revealing that in fact it is canon, he did have gray pubes.
I'm glad we got that out of the way.
I had to make sure that was exclamated. It's in capital letters. Ugh, that's fucking stupid. Arcs of electricity started ripping through the air as a small fire bat slowly climbed out of the vortex as the last part of his little body was pulled through faster than a pizza place at midnight when you're really hungry and they were still open for 5 minutes. I was gonna tip you $10, you dick. Why they close when you need food? You're gonna treat them right. I used to do it. I loved it. I hated it. The necromancer moved over to the bat and scooped him up, and tears ran down his face. I've missed you so much, he said to the goofy-looking bat as it writhed for a moment before flaring. Was that pronunciation? That's pronunciation. He said to the goofy-looking bat as it writhed for a moment before flaring out its wings and shooting out of his palms, pooping fire around him, trying to create a poo fire circle that encased the necromancer. I'm out of breath. I'm trying to make it epic. I'm trying to go Michael Bay.
Add those explosions.
You killed me. It boomed. Apparently, having had enough free time in the afterlife to learn the language of the land, because animals can do that.
Totally.
Yeah. Oh! I was just trying to make you happy. It was your effing birthday, Broseph. I thought you'd love it. You know if I get too excited, I will Hiroshima myself, you jerk. The bat dive-bombed and flew with eyes glaring, darting at the necromancer with murderous intent, and poop fire flaming out of his ass like some kind of shit missile. The necromancer slapped him out of the air. That old-timey plane losing control sound effect could be heard as the bat lost control and crashed into the corner. No, please, don't do this, friend. I will get my revenge and I will go on and steal your recipe. I will create Jerry subs and pizza. He boomed as the air in the room started
Body's telling me no.
But body's telling me yes. He boomed as the air in the room started to whip around and the bat started to grow. He slowly tripled in size and grew an additional set of wings, as well as a massive, veiny cock.
When in doubt, go to the cock.
That's what I do. He started to whirl around as he lifted from the ground like a devilish dervish of death. And started pooping mad fire, bro. He was landing all over the fucking place. On scrolls, the floors, Barry's favorite blanket. It was kind of like letting your brother-in-law's pet stay when they go on vacation. I learned my lesson, Tom. It blasted through Barry and knocked him on his back, catching some of his clothing on fire. He quickly started smacking at it, trying to put it in. He started smacking at it, trying to put it out as he stood once more. The bat swooped in, spinning and let out a war cry as he belched vomit. It wasn't really an attack or anything, he was just super dizzy. The necromancer ran over and hit the circle button and grabbed the bat out of the air like crazy. And ripped off one of the sets of wings from the crazy fire bat. It dropped to the ground, now too large to fly, having only one set of ghost bat wings. Doesn't have to be this way, old friend. Fuck you in the tits, said the fire bat, writhing on the ground with a heavy heart. Barry lifted his foot and Kratos'd his little buddy, stomping him out of ghost existence. As he did, the Mega Man death sound could be heard as light orbs shot out from the body as he was dead. The orbs didn't vanish. They slowly came back together into one single orb, and they flew around the room. A ghost couldn't be killed that easily. The soul of the fire bat started frantically flying about. It had little time, and it shot for the necromancer. He sidestepped the orb and it went and John Denvered into the cheesesteak, possessing the sandwich.
I guess the child's a sandwich now, huh?
The necromancer sighed and turned on his episodes of Sons of Hierarchy, picked up the cheesesteak and with tears in his eyes. Well, little buddy, you got what you want. There will always be at least one Jerry subs and pizza, he said with a heavy heart and took a bite from the sub. That was my dick, said Jerry. Finn. That's it, it's over. He ate his possessed friend in a sandwich. He started with the dick, apparently.
He started with his dick. When in doubt, go to
the dick. Yeah! God! Woo! My stories get worse every week. I'm so glad I'm editing this episode because I fucked up so much. I might keep some of them in because some of them, like the pronunciation part, that was fucking awful. Did you enjoy it?
I did, of course.
I think for every 3 stories I do, you should do 1.
Look, I already got to do Mega Man.
Oh, come on. I'm not saying we got to do it next week or 2 weeks from now or... Fuck it, I'll just do the fantasy fiction.
No, I'll do the next one.
They're hard to do. They really are.
Alright, I'll do the next one.
The funniest part about writing, and they talk about it in the show, the same thing, is it's like, it's so weird. You start out, if you have no idea, and by the time you write a part of it, it's so weird putting your brain in that position to do that. Writing is tough, dude. Like, you hear how stupid my stories are. This is me giving it my all. I'm trying to make people laugh. I fucking had fuck you in the tits in there somewhere. It was good times. Mm-hmm. Hey, did I hit my elements? Did I hit my prompts?
Yeah. We had the cheesesteak. We had cock.
We always have cocks.
We had necromancy.
We had possession.
Pussy session.
Dude, that was the one part I was like, how am I going to make this work? And I was like, I got the greatest idea. I think I told you after I started writing it, I took a day away from it. And I texted you, I was like, dude, I have thought of pretty much this entire story now that I've walked away from it for a minute. And that's actually kind of cool. It's like you can graph it out in your mind after you start. Because when you start, it's like, where do you go? Mm-hmm. I have these 3 phrases that I have to use.
Yeah.
So I just start writing, and I write ridiculous shit. Barry Life Againer? And the Jerry, that was totally a coincidence, by the way. The bat was named Jerry, and when I thought about it, I was like, oh, there's a cheese stick. It's Barry subs. Jerry's. Oh my god. It was so great. It all came together so well for me.
Fucking genius.
So I encourage anybody out there, if you just take a moment away from reality, just sit down and write something. You don't gotta share it like I do and feel stupid. Just write something. Make yourself laugh. Have fun. Listen to fantasyfiction.podcast. Podcast. Shit.
.podcast.
Fuck that all.
I don't know if anything's there.
No, they have a website. I think it's just Fantasy Fiction Pod. Fantasy Fic Pod? I don't know. Just Google it. Stop being a cock. It's free. It's free, goddammit. Just go to break. Go to break. Shit.
In the land of fantasy and the fields of fiction, they'll roll two knights across the plains. Two thieves of the night, two warriors of honor, in the shadow of the mountain cry their name. Fantasy fiction. Until the deed is done. Fantasy fiction. Until the quest is won. Fantasy fiction. The battle's in our minds. Fantasy fiction. Until the end of time.
Need to wrap that gavel up, B.
That B is gavel wrapped. What?
That B has a gavel all around it.
Yeah, well, sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do.
All right. So we're back to finish up with the nerdgasms. That is the scariest gasm I've ever heard. So we've been horrible people.
Have we?
Yeah.
How?
We have not gone over our songs for the past 3 weeks.
We haven't. Oh my god, I forgot we had songs.
Yeah.
Yo, we got songs.
So I need to go through what I used 3 weeks ago. Jesus Christ.
All right, here's a list of shit to check out. Here we go. Starting with Josh. Boom, bang, bang, bang.
So I opened up with Welcome Home by Coheed and Cambria.
Welcome home.
Went to the Superman theme from the movie, the Richard Donner movie, done by John Williams, of course.
Yes.
Final Fantasy VIII, The Extreme.
The only thing good about Final Fantasy VIII.
I am not going to argue with you. Then I used the Head Chala Xenoverse edition.
Damn, son.
And finished up with Freedom Isn't Free.
It does cost folks like you and Mike.
No, there's a hefty fucking fee.
Alright, so I guess next would be me, because I didn't say mine either. 2 weeks ago, I used Initiation by Crown the Empire. I used actual all regular songs I just like.
Yeah.
So, Since You've Been Gone by A Day to Remember. And Party of Three by Ninja Sex Party, because it seems you can't get out of one of my episodes without a Ninja Party sex.
No.
Ninja Party sex song?
Ninja Party Sexton?
You can't get out of one of my shits without a Ninja Party sex song. So, and I closed it with my DVDA song of choice, The End of an Act. Thank you, Ben.
Ben Affleck needs acting school.
It's such a great song.
And then last week I used Retreat by 65 Days of Static.
Yes.
The Dudley Boys return. I had their little segment in there when they returned on Raw.
I remember, because you were hype about that return, too.
I was. And then I used their Bombshell theme song, which was done by Powerman 5000.
Okay.
I used the Mega Man X2 first stage.
Always a good one.
Always a good one. Scott Pilgrim, the first stage, which is called Another Winter.
It is one of the best fucking, what are they called? Chiptune songs?
Chiptune, MIDI, whatever
Dude,
you want to call it.
When I heard, I texted you like immediately after I heard you use it.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my god, it's Scott Pilgrim.
That is a great one.
It's so fucking good. That whole soundtrack was really good to that game.
Yeah.
Sorry, I had to gush.
And I finished up with, that's all I'm asking for.
What?
That's all I'm asking for. It ain't a lot to ask. I'm sure we'll get it fast.
Oh, you beat me to a Cannibal the Musical song.
I did.
I remember now.
A friend of mine was mining and he made a lot of cash. He made $1 gazillion. How was that?
What, we have not used much of Cannibal the Musical. I am going to use a Cannibal the Musical song myself.
All right.
It's going to be hard to resist the urge to use Spadoinkle.
I was going to say, I hope it's a Spadoinkle day.
No, I want to save that for later, because that one, I'm thinking the Snowman song.
Okay.
You might be hearing some Snowman song here.
All right.
But other than that, let's move on to some gasms. I'll let you go first, since mine's... No, I'll go first. Mine's obvious.
Go for it.
Metal Gear motherfucking Solid 5. Oh my golden rings.
All right, Sonic.
That was a fantasy fiction thing. Check out Fantasy Fiction Podcast. But no, Metal Gear Solid 5 has been... It's fucking amazing. It's one of the best games I've ever played so far.
I mean, like I said, I've not heard anything bad about it.
The last time I checked on Metacritic, it's still holding at a solid 95.
Yeah.
It's fucking... I love it. I love the way it's executed and everything, because when I heard open world, I was like, oh no. But the way it's done really well. Everything about the game so far has been great. I can't fucking wait till tomorrow to try not to miss editing. Because I know when I wake up, I'm going to be like Metal Gear.
It can't be.
Can't be. It's a great game. It's so much fun. If I had another nerdgasm, it would be nothing, because it's fucking Metal Gear.
Fair enough.
Fair enough.
All right.
Yeah.
So I have two. The first one was Xavier Woods was on Screw Attack.
Jesus! Jesus!
So he posted a video a couple weeks ago. I talked about it when he did a whole like Street Fighter tournament.
Yeah,
with
the wrestling Street Fighter tournament.
Yeah. So he was on Screw Attack. They did his top 5 wrestling games, which was great. But they also gave out his YouTube address, which is youtube.com/updownupdown, which is great.
I know. I get the
excuse me.
reference.
Sorry, youtube.com/upupdowndown. I'm slow.
It's left, right, left, right. Is what you were thinking of the left to the right.
I was.
To the left, to the left, to the left, to the right, to the right. Little web, little web. God damn it!
James likes the Little Web.
It's never going to get out of my head.
Little Web. No, so go check out his channel. He has a bunch of gaming videos where it's just like him and WWE guys playing video games. Like they played like Ninja Turtles 2 on
that's
NES.
fucking awesome.
Yeah. So lots of stuff on there. Go check it out. Maximilian
Is amazing.
is amazing. He's been doing like the history of Versus series on his channel.
I didn't know that. I've been caught up in his Omega Street Fighter 4 videos.
Yes.
Where there's like Link is in there and shit like that. Just crazy costumes.
Yeah.
But I have been watching a lot of Maximilian lately. It was so crazy you said that.
Yeah, so he's been doing the history of the Versus series. So he started out at X-Men Children of the Atom. He went all the way up to Marvel vs. Capcom 3. So he's done like all of them. And he keeps like posting just like crazy combo videos and stuff like that.
Did he do the one that was that... I can never remember the name of that animation house from Japan. Japan. You know what I'm talking about? Where it was like Street Fighter versus, and it was a Wii exclusive.
No.
You don't remember that? Because we used to talk about it all the time, and I was like, you gotta buy this, you have a Wii.
Oh, Tatsunoko versus
Yes,
Capcom?
Tatsunoko versus Capcom.
No, this was straight Marvel.
Oh,
Marvel
because
versus.
that's considered a versus. He should have done that too.
No, he was basically...
Does that mean he doesn't touch on the SNK versus series either?
He does not, no.
Oh, that makes me sad. Max, what are you doing?
I'm sure it's somewhere down the line, but this was the Marvel versus series. So it started out with Children of the Atom, went to Marvel superheroes, then X-Men versus Street Fighter, Marvel superheroes versus Street Fighter, to Marvel vs. Capcom, Capcom 2, 3, and then Ultimate 3.
Yeah, I haven't watched them. I probably will. But did you? Oh, those tournaments that we were talking. I talked to you about this weekend. We caught them late. I caught him late. Josh, we didn't know it was coming. It was like Summer Jam, I think it's called.
No, I didn't watch it.
Of course, I can't remember his name. I feel so bad. I should look at my Twitter and check. But Yomi, of course, won Marvel. Or not Marvel, sorry. Whoa.
Mortal Kombat?
Mortal Kombat, yes. Was a Predator player.
Okay.
Took the tournament with Pred.
Oh, that was a Dominion, right?
No, it wasn't
No?
Dominion. It's one of the newest fucking Yomi players. That's why I wish I had looked it up, because I went back and watched the video of it. Dude, he was fucking awesome. His play was like some of the best play I've ever seen. Which, granted, Predator, new character, who's going to know how the fuck you react to that?
Yeah.
So, of course, you know me, I'm fucking incapable of not having technology around me. So,
David's checking something on break.
I am. His name, it's Forever King.
Oh,
Yomi.
Forever King. Okay.
Forever King took Mortal Kombat. Yomi. They're beasts, man.
They are beasts.
Yomi is... I would give him most humble. Because I tweet out to, like... I'm not cutting you down. I tweet out to most of the professional gaming places, like Evil Geniuses. I tweet out to a lot of them.
Yeah.
Yomi is the one that always will either answer or favorite or everything. They love being mentioned, and they're such great players, and they're such humble dudes.
Yeah,
So-
I like Yomi a lot.
Shout outs to Yomi. You did great. Keep doing great. I'm going to do great people.
All right. So let's close this out. So we have our social medias.
We do, which we rarely ever mention because we always get lost in the moment of
Yes.
magic.
We always forget about it.
Pretty much, let's just list out the ones we're all connected to the same name off of.
Yeah. Facebook, Twitter, Podomatic, and iTunes. It's all Such a Nerd Pod.
Yes.
YouTube is Such a Nerd Podcast.
Yes. You can find us there. You forgot the Gmail, Such a Nerd Pod. That's on there too.
Yeah. Drop us a line.
Drop us a line. Drop us $1 billion.
Drop us a dick in the mouth.
Yes! Give me that option.
I'd like to donate a dick in the mouth, please.
Check out our donation pages where you can send us dick pics. Alright, so it's been another week. I think it's been a good week. We had a good time.
Yeah, so next week we're going to have my Metal Gear.
Metal Gear battles.
My Mega Man bosses.
It's going to be Psycho Platypus.
You should have used that one.
I used pole vaulting platypus. Feel free to use your own platypus since I used a crocodile.
All right.
Yes, we got Mega Man X battles. We got and we got
Metal Gear.
We're gonna wrap up some Metal Gear review.
Yeah.
So
Although I can't really do the David Hayter voice anymore since it's fucking Kiefer Sutherland.
he's just like, it's kind of weird to do. Is Metal Gear?
Yeah, it's Metal Gear.
It's Metal Gear. We have 24 hours. No, all right, we're done. We're done here.
I'm getting a paycheck for this?
He does a lot of voice work, dude. Those tapes, man, there's so much to listen to. You might want to make yourself a coffee. Maybe a grilled cheese sandwich.
Okay.
Go ham sandwich on that shit. We're out of here for this week. We'll be back next week.
I was planning on going ham sandwich already. It's good to know I got the go-ahead.
You got the go-ahead. Go ham sandwich. We're going to get out of here, and we'll be back next week. Maybe.
Yeah,
Possibly.
maybe.
Are you actually going to do your bosses this week? You
Yes,
fucking bitch?
goddammit.
All right. See you next week.
And I've come to the conclusion that we're completely fucked. Has anybody else made this discovery?
So let's build a snowman. We can make him our best friend. We can name him Tom. We can name him George. We can make him tall, or we can make him not so tall. Snowman. He'll have a happy face, happy smile, happy point of view. If you build me a snowman, then I'll build one for you. So let's build a snowman. We can make him our best friend. We can name him Bob, or we can name him Beowulf. We can make him tall, or we can make him not so tall. Snowman. Hey! He'll have a happy face, a happy smile, a happy point of view. You put me in
fucker's gone completely nuts.
For you. Snowman, snowman, snowman. I can't keep going on like this forever.
Me neither. We haven't eaten in a week.
What are we gonna do, Packer? I know what we should do.
What?
Let's build a snowman. We can make
Shut
him
the fuck
our best
up,
friend. We can name him Shannon. Shannon Wilson Bell.
Swan,
We can
shut
make
the
him
fuck
tall,
up.
or we can make him not so tall.
Jesus!